Are we finally getting fairies? The latest Sims 4 roadmap promises kits, a free event, a life and death themed expansion pack, and more. Those who are eagle-eyed have latched on to the presence of butterflies around Grimm as proof that we're getting fairies. But are they truly in the cards, or does the future have something else in store for us? The Sims 4 community is buzzing with excitement as EA has unveiled the latest roadmap for the game, titled Season of To Be Continued. This new content plan promises to add intriguing chapters to players' Sim stories and has sparked widespread speculation among Simmers everywhere. The roadmap introduces several key elements that have captured the community's attention. 2 new kits, the Storybook Nursery Kit and the Artist Studio Kit, set to release on September 19th. A free base game event called Reaper's Rewards, which is launching on the 24th of September, and the highly anticipated Life and Death expansion pack, scheduled for release on October 31st, also known as Halloween. Fans are eagerly anticipating the return of the fan favorite Grim Reaper character and speculating about new gameplay mechanics that could explore the themes of mortality and the afterlife in The Sims 4. This roadmap represents a departure from EA's usual approach, as they have provided specific release dates for upcoming content, allowing players to mark their calendars and build anticipation. But why the change? This is pure speculation on my part, but I suspect it's due to the last several instances of DLC being leaked well before release. This might be EA trying to beat the people who have been leaking info in their own game. Not that it's worked. Moving on, the Season of To Be Continued theme suggests that these updates will enhance the storytelling aspects of the game, potentially offering more complex narrative options and character development for Sims. Even though there's major drama and contention regarding the sheer number of DLCs for The Sims 4, one thing is true. These DLCs have added depth, variety, and new gameplay elements to the base game. The recent announcement of the Season of To Be Continued has sparked a wave of excitement and speculation among fans. The promise of a new expansion pack focusing on life and death, combined with the focus of the Grim Reaper, has created a perfect storm for fan theories. Now, if you are on any social media site and you're a fan of The Sims 4, you'll probably have seen more than a few theories about this new roadmap. Now let's break down some of the theories that have jumped out at me in particular. Starting with new gameplay mechanics, many fans are speculating that the Life and Death expansion pack will introduce a playable afterlife realm, allowing Sims to continue their journey post-mortem. With one of the tarot cards being the World, this seems to be a good theory. Maybe it's a world where ghost Sims go to live, which would give us the opportunity to continue playing as that Sim after they die, but we'd have to move over to this new world and only be able to visit the living worlds until we manage to bring ourselves back to life. Some theorize that the expansion might include time travel mechanics, letting Sims revisit past lives or glimpse into future ones. This one is a bit more out there, in my opinion. Yes, we've had time travel in The Sims 3, but I don't think the devs will be doing that again for The Sims 4. It would require way too much work, for one thing. I mean, they would have to create a past and future version of each world in the game. Do you really think that EA would let them do that? Yeah, I don't think so. Another popular theory suggests that the introduction of a reincarnation mechanic, where deceased Sims could be reborn into new families. Now, while I would personally love to see this in the game, I'm not going to hold my breath for reincarnation. But it would be pretty cool if my Sim could come back as a cat. Seriously though, the only way I can think of this actually working is if the final adult Sim in our household dies, and instead of the game giving us a game over and inviting us to create a new sim. It instead gives us the option to reincarnate the sim into a different household in the save, thereby making that household a playable household and making one of the adult sims in that household immediately become pregnant with a baby who has the spirit of our deceased sim. Next up, we have potential locations. Now, as I mentioned in the previous section, fans are excited about the possibility of a new world representing the afterlife, complete with unique architecture and landscapes. We are so used to getting a new world with expansion packs, so I will be very surprised if we don't get a new world with a Life and Death expansion pack. Now, I am hoping that it will be a purgatory-like world where our ghost sims will have to choose whether to be resurrected via ambrosia, to be reincarnated into a new family, or to fade away. Now, some simmers have speculated that the pack might include various historical periods as visitable locations, tying into the theme of life and death across time, but again, I'm skeptical of this, as it would require the devs to create multiple worlds in the game, and again, I just cannot see the EA overlords allowing them to do this, unless the historical periods are actually individual lots instead of worlds. Basically like the Sylvan Glade or the Forgotten Grotto hidden worlds. That might work, though I fear it would also disappoint quite a few simmers who would prefer the locations to be full multi-lot worlds. With every new roadmap comes the potential to have a new career. And your theories about this have not disappointed. Many simmers believe that a new career path as a psychic or medium could be introduced, allowing sims to communicate with the deceased. However, the problem with this new career path is that we already have the paranormal career from the paranormal pack, and a psychic or a medium career might be too similar to this already established career. Although, come to think of it, if they put in a tarot card reader as a career, that could be a way around it. Some of you have theorized that sims might be able to work alongside the Grim Reaper, learning the trade of soul collection. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I would absolutely love this as a career, but only if it's a live career. If it's a rabbit hole career, it would still be pretty cool, but nowhere near as fun. Finally, tying into the historical periods theories, the historian and archaeologist careers are two more wished-for additions to the game. However, like the theorized psychic and medium careers, we already have an archaeology career, and I highly doubt that we'll get another one. A historian career could be fairly interesting though, but I'm honestly not sure how it could be made differently enough from the existing archaeology career unless the expansion pack comes with the visitable historical period locations as I talked about earlier. Then we've got character relationship theories, which I think could really add more depth to the game. Simmers expect enhanced interactions between living sims and ghosts, possibly including romantic relationships that transcend mortality. Right now, ghosts in The Sims 4 are little more than sims with a special skin, denoting them as ghosts. As a matter of fact, I recently released a video talking about how you can put these skins on your own sims. If you want to take a look at that video, you can find it just up here. Ghost sims can interact with the living world and continue their relationships from beyond the grave, and even be added to your sim's household, which kinda defeats the purpose of them being a ghost. If Maxis completely changes the way ghost sims work, however, adding different and more meaningful interactions between the living and the dead, this could be a big thing, especially if the theorized new world of the dead that we talked about earlier becomes a reality. Some of you have theorized that the pack will allow for deeper exploration of family histories and ancestral connections. Considering how broken the family tree currently is in the game, with Sims disappearing from it after like 4 or 5 generations, and the fact that your Sim can literally marry their second cousin, I'm hoping that if they do this, they also fix and improve the family tree and family relationships. Many Simmers are also hoping for the ability to befriend or even romance the Grim Reaper character. Those of us who have been playing The Sims 4 for a while, the OG Simmers, will remember that we used to be able to do this. So if the devs give us the ability to do so again without having to use cheats or mods, this will result in a lot of happy Simmers, me included. Last but not least, are other speculations that caught my attention that don't really fit into any of the previous categories that we've talked about. Some of you believe that the expansion will introduce more nuanced aging mechanics, possibly including age-related illnesses or life-extending abilities. Now, I could get behind this, but these new mechanics would have to be really special to get me excited about them. There's also speculation about a revamped memory system, allowing Sims to reflect on past experiences more vividly. This is something that I can actually see being put into the game, as there are actually existing mods by Lumpinu that do this. The first is called Memory Panel and is base game compatible, and the second is called Milestones Expanded and requires the Growing Together expansion pack. I'll put the links in the description for you all so that you can check out these mods yourself, and if you'd like me to go over them in a future video, please let me know in the comments. Some Simmers are begging for the introduction of new supernatural creatures tied to the concepts of life and death, such as angels or demons or even fairies. Honestly, I'm not really interested in either being added to The Sims 4, though if they do add them, I can see them being used as a natural progression from the Ghost Sims stage. Maybe our Ghost Sims can have the choice to become a guardian angel or a demon based on their traits and character values, and then work as either guardian angels or harbingers of chaos, or something along those lines. Remember though, these are pure speculations and are not confirmed features. We don't know exactly what's going to be included in the new content, so take everything that I've said in this video with a Grim Reaper shaped block of salt. Now that you've heard some of the community's theories and hopes about the upcoming content and my personal thoughts about these theories, what about my own theories? Well, I'm glad you've asked. The teaser video showed us 4 tarot cards: the Star, Judgment, Death, and the World in a simple 5-card tarot spread. Keeping in mind that the devs love hiding hints in the roadmap videos, I have a few theories of my own based on these tarot cards alone. The Star indicates hope for the future. As a positive omen, it symbolizes being open to healing the wounds of the past. It can also indicate creativity and artistic flair. Since it's being used to represent the 2 upcoming kits, which are about storytelling and art, this makes sense. I think the Artist Studio Kit will be a build-buy kit that we can use to build a proper artist's studio. I'm hoping that this will include something interactive like a pottery wheel or loom, but this would also require them to add a new skill, which isn't something they tend to do with kits. So I'm not going to get my hopes up too much. Most likely what we'll be getting is more paintings that our Sims will be able to paint, some new still art sculptures for our artist Sims to paint by reference from, and maybe a few new things for the woodworking table if we're super lucky. I'm also hoping that we get some new messy paint-based floor coverings, which will be really cool. For the Storybook Nursery Kit, this will also be a build-buy kit and will be filled with cute woodland animals and furniture that screams medieval royal nursery. This slot can represent the past. In this case, the fact that we're talking about kits makes sense. We already have artist content and nursery content in The Sims 4, so we are literally revisiting the past with these two kits and just adding new things to what we've already got. The Reaper's reward event sounds like a reiteration of the daily rewards login event that we had a while back, though I'm really wondering if I'm correct with this assumption. This event is being represented with a tarot card depicting a cow plant with a piece of cake and the hands of Sims reaching out to it. I believe that this is meant to be the judgment card, which typically symbolizes being judged or being reunited with someone that you've been separated from. I'm wondering if this event might be an in-game event where our Sims are judged according to their deeds. Maybe it'll be like a scenario where you're given choices, and the choices that we make determine what items we'll get as a reward. This card is in the second slot in the layout, which represents the present. I believe this to be a play on words, present equals rewards, pretty much the Sims team being their usual punny selves. Moving on to the next card, the Life and Death expansion pack is heralded by the Death card. Here we see Grimm themselves wielding their scythe and holding a death flower in their outstretched hand. Behind Grimm is a bright sun. There are also butterflies on this card, which I believe are being used as symbols of rebirth and the human soul, and not fairies. The Death card is also known as the Death and Rebirth card, which is referenced by the expansion's name. Despite popular belief, the Death card does not actually signify death, but rather transformation, change, and new beginnings. With this in mind, I'm hoping that this points to a new world populated by ghost Sims where Grimm makes his home. This world should not be visitable by living Sims, but rather we should be given the option to move there when a Sim in our household dies. I would also love to be able to create ghost Sims in CAS and be able to immediately move to the new world that way. In the simple 5-card tarot spread, this card is in the unexpected slot. This leads me to conjecture that this expansion pack may contain something big and totally unexpected, or at least something that we have never seen before in a Sims game. Finally, we have the World card, which is attached to the announcement of free updates on the roadmap. This card is super interesting as it seems to reference 4 different worlds that we have in The Sims 4. The first is a tropical island world, which I think is meant to be Sulani. Going clockwise, there's a Japanese-styled image, which I think is meant to represent Mount Komorebi. The third image is a desert world with a large crater. This can only be Strangerville. The final image is a Gothic mansion with a moon and bat. I think we can all agree that that is none other than Forgotten Hollow. But why these 4 worlds? What ties them all together? Maybe the free updates will give us items that fit in with these worlds in particular? Perhaps these worlds are getting a refresh. I honestly don't know, but personally, I'm hoping for a refresh of these worlds, much like they refreshed the Spa Day pack a while back. But wait, that's only 4 cards. And the video shows a 5-card spread. What's on the 5th card? The video shows it being flipped over, only to reveal the words, "to be continued." But what does this mean? It's in the distant future slot, and I have 2 guesses. My first guess is that this roadmap is actually the first part of a larger 2-part plan. Roadmaps typically cover 4 full months, but this one only mentions September and October. So we might be getting a part 2 roadmap for November and December. Or it's just the devs saying, this is all for this year, but don't worry, we've got lots more content planned for 2025. If it's the former, we can probably expect similar content to be released in November and December. But if it's the latter, well, we can still expect more content for next year, at the very least. The Sims franchise's 25th anniversary is coming up in 2025, and since we didn't get anything for The Sims 4's 10th anniversary, I think we can expect a large amount of freebies across the board for this larger celebration. If we don't, well, I don't have to be a fortune teller to be able to predict a large number of very pissed off Sims fans. But what do you think, Simmers? Share your hopes, dreams, and predictions for this new roadmap in the comments. And if you enjoyed the video, please hit the thumbs up button so I'll know to continue creating content like this in the future.